what comes into our heads when we think of an estate car? It's not usually something that's sporty. It's mainly a load lugger, isn't it? But things are changing and cars aren't really called estates anymore. Car manufacturers have put the word Tourer in the names of these cars. So this is the Honda Civic Tourer, based obviously on the hatchback but with an extra load of boot space in the rear. And it looks alright. Now from the outside it's a typically Japanese car. You've got the sharp lines at the front, the dipping front end of this car, and then you've got the added extra of that boot. Now to me it's not the best looking car, but a lot of my friends beg to differ. They actually quite like this car. The 624 litres in the back is used quite well, and when you fold the seats down they actually fold completely flat. Now Honda have been very clever with how they've utilised the space in this car. As I've said, the rear seats fold down completely flat. You can also lift the bottom of the back seats up, so you've got tons of room underneath, and there's actually a storage container in the rear as well where you can lift up. I've put tools in there and things like that, can like hide completely from sight. So this car is actually really clever, and there's even lots of space in the front. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take it out on the road. Okay, so the Honda Civic Tourer comes with two engine choices. You have the 1.6 diesel, 120 brake horsepower. It only does 99 grams of CO2, so it's actually tax free. And they claim you can get around 74 miles to the gallon, and I wouldn't say it's far off, seeing as where I've driven it this week. I've got plenty of miles to how much fuel I've had in it. There's also 1.8 petrol, and the 1.8 petrol is a little bit quieter, but obviously not as economic. You have to pay tax and things like that on it. So I'd say probably the choice that most people will take will be the 1.6 diesel. And it's not a bad engine, it pulls well, it's a little bit loud under load, it's together with a 6-speed gearbox, and it's really quite easy to live with. So 1.6 would be the pick, especially with the not having to pay car tax. Now the ride on this is okay, you know, it's fairly comfortable. There is on this model actually a suspension setting which changes the rear suspension dampers, things like that. You've got comfort, dynamic and normal mode. To be honest, I can't really see much difference in them, and I've kept it in normal, and that's been a completely, you know, perfect kind of setting to have it on. There's also this Econ green button down here. Now that changes how the car drives, accelerates, and the air conditions. It just makes the whole car more economical. I've kept it on that, I haven't had a problem. You know, this 1.6 diesel is fairly, you can make progress, it's not going to hold you back, it really isn't. So it's quite a good engine really. Now the interior of this car is for me it's quite busy. Now you've got a head-up display type thing there. You've also got these dials, and personally I just prefer the dials. It just all seems when you're at night just really busy, and there's actually no need for it, but you know, it's what Honda do and what they put on their cars, and it's not too bad. The quality of the interior is good. It feels well put together. It doesn't feel too cheap. There are obviously cheap plastics involved, things like that, but it doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. With Honda you get a 3-year warranty, which isn't as much as some of the other manufacturers, but Honda do really well each year on reliability. Now this Civic Tourer would be perfect for a family. It's got the space, it's really easy to live with. Apart from, I do find it a little bit uncomfortable on the seat, but there's not enough adjustments. I'm not too bad, I mean I can see both the dials and the head-up display, but someone who's a bit shorter might struggle. Apart from that, it's quite an easy car to deal with, and the size of the boot is actually larger than the Skoda Octavia, so it's really deceiving, this car. It looks very kind of neat, put together and things like that. But it's got the space that you need. Now prices start for the diesel version around £19,000. This is the EX Plus, and this starts at around £26,000, so it isn't cheap. There are plenty of competition available and things like that, so I would definitely recommend, if you're thinking about going for this car, is to go and test drive it, see if you can get a comfortable driving position, check out the 1.6 diesel, and you can't go wrong. I think you'd have a really good car on your hands.